Should catch these dudes on fire.
If you can find a way to interrupt the Black Tusk download, they must be accessing one of the systems directly.
Look how long they're burning for. Look at this. Holy shit! Holy shit! I just refreshed it. Let's just drop this. Oh, that was amazing. Dude, they burned longer than the cooldown for perpetuation. That's fucking insane.
See ya.
What's up, agents? Hope you guys are doing really well. We are about to revisit the Eclipse Protocol gear set. It's been quite a while since I've checked out this build. I had my Imperial Dynasty build. So I'm checking out the way we look. We look the part. That's how good this is. Anyway, so check us out. We're going to test out the Imperial Dynasty holster in conjunction with the Eclipse Protocol. Let's throw some creeping death on that. Hell, you guys have probably seen it, but let's get into it and you can see what we do. I'm going to test all the skills that I think are applicable to this build. You guys might run it a bit differently, but I'm going to try to cover all the bases. We're even going to cover the new Achilles Pulse. All right, let's get into it. All right, first, let's cover the specialization. We are using the Technician. Now, we could argue that you can use the Firewall, right? Which will give you the extra plus 20% burn duration, health on kill, a nice armor kit. We'll give you the shield. Unfortunately, this doesn't really do anything to help the build. Plus 10% damage to allies that are within 10 meters of ourselves. It would be better if it was within 10 meters of them. Plus 30% bonus armor during cover to cover. And armor breaks apply a burn to enemies within 5 meters. And it gives you the flamethrower. So this would be a decent thing to run, but we are running the Technician. Primarily for the amped. This is plus 1 skill tier. This allows us to run some armor or some weapon damage as a core ability. Gives us the bonus damage to the drones, skill proxies, and robotics. We can heal our skills. This doesn't really matter. This will heal all of our friendly skills for our allies as well. You get access to the Artificer Hive we're not using, but to note. Faraday Field. Since we are using the Stinger Hive, we can use this, and this will keep us from getting shocked and disrupted if used at the appropriate time. And we're going to go ahead and rock some Overclock CPU for plus 10% skill damage. And you get the rocket launcher with this. Alright, agents, next we're going to go over the Eclipse Protocol gear set, the exotic piece we're using, and the one brand set piece we're using. So, we are using 4 pieces of Eclipse Protocol. Each of these will have status effect on it. We will have Skill Haste mod, a Skill Haste mod, and an Armor on Kill mod. The 2 pieces of Eclipse Protocol gives us plus 15% status effects. 3-piece gives us additional 15% skill haste and an additional 30% hazard protection. And this hazard protection does tend to help us out a bit since we are causing a lot of status effects. We are not immune to most of our status effects, so this will help to mitigate a lot of the damage that we would take or the stun time or what it happens to be that's oftentimes self-induced. And then the big one we're looking for is this 4-piece indirect transmission. Your status effects now spread on kill to all enemies within 10 meters and refresh 50% of the duration. And we are going with the chest piece specifically for proliferation. Increases indirect transmission range from 10 to 15 meters. And refresh percentage from 50 to 75%. The 50 to 75% is big. I mean, that's huge. You're at that point, you're basically almost resetting the entire thing, right? But what you guys really have to realize, the range, that 10-meter range, well, that's a radius. So you have to think about how much extra. So you imagine this, and then that. How much extra area we're getting. So while it's only increasing the radius by 5, we're substantially increasing the area of effect that we spread these status effects around. You guys will see the results of that in a bit. Next, we'll go ahead and talk about the brand set piece we're using. I'm going to be using a Golan, and we're using this for the plus 10% status effects, so this is just adding on top of everything. Golan does come with the core attribute of armor. If you happen to get the God roll piece of rolling Creeping Death, status effect, and really, you don't even have to have skill haste. It can be anything. But if you were to get status effects and Creeping Death on the Golan piece, if I get that, I will actually roll the core attribute of armor away. I will roll that into skill tier, and at that point, I will switch over to using the firewall just for the added benefits that we get to all the different burns, because we are applying burn quite often. And as we were talking about the talent on this backpack, Creeping Death, when you apply a status effect, it is also applied to all enemies within 10 meters of your target. So what this means is upon initial engagement, the first status effect that we apply, which most of the time is fire due to the exotic piece we'll talk about in a second, but it immediately spreads to everybody within 8 meters of that target. So you always try to run towards the center of a group. So that immediately spreads it around, gets the effects going. We lay down our skills, but then the first person to die, we always try to kill the weakest enemy, because that will spread all status effects that they have to everybody within 15 meters of that point, and anybody that's under the effect of status effects, it will refresh all of their durations, their timer back, so they will continue to take damage. And because we are rocking status effect on every piece, they will burn for a long time. You guys, I'm sure, saw the perpetuation clip, and we'll talk about that in just a moment here, but I'm sure you guys saw right in the very beginning how long we were able to keep those guys burning. And the last piece we're using to tie this all together is this Imperial Dynasty exotic holster. Comes with status effects and hazard protection. So you guys notice between this 10% hazard protection and then the 30% that we get with the gear set, we're rocking 40% hazard protection without having to use any mods. So the biggest reason we're using the Imperial Dynasty is because the Dragon's Glare is one of the best ways to not only enter an engagement and initiate it by spreading fire around, but this is also a great safety feature. If I'm sitting back, I'm attacking from a distance, and I get flanked or something, one of those melee rushers tries to rush up on me, instead he will catch fire, start screaming, I'll be alerted he's there. And with this build, oftentimes, unless it's one of those yellow bar rushers, oftentimes my status effects will be enough to kill him before they can even do anything to me. I don't even need to get involved. So, and that's, of course, helped by spreading around the indirect transmission, which will keep reapplying status effects to them. So all of this synergizes really well, as you guys will see. All right, now we're going to go over some weapons. I got to tell you guys, I don't understand this wall here. Like, sometimes it shows some of my weapons, but it never shows all of my weapons, and it's really random. And even when, like, even in my inventory, I got all this shit, and it's like, dude, we're not sure. Anyway. But yeah, that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about weapons. So let's go through the list. The primary weapons I use may not be the same weapons you'll use, but I'll talk about what I'll use, and then I'll talk about totally viable options. So I'm electing my primary weapon to use the Scorpio exotic shotgun for the septic shock. Shooting a target applies stacks of venom, which lasts for 10 seconds. Increasing stacks adds more severe debuff to the target. 1 adds poison, 3 adds disorient, 6 adds shock, 7 targets take additional 20% damage from all sources. Stacks no longer increase. Duration of status effects is based upon the percentage of pellets that hit on applying shot. So, unfortunately, I've checked it out. This is not buffed by status effects on our gear at all. So, all you can do is shoot as fast as you can and just get them stacks up. Since no matter what I'm doing, I'm basically spreading around my status effects, I can use this to help spread it around. Alright, the second weapon I'm using is the Everlasting Gaze. This is A, for long-range engagements, and B, the primary reason, of course, perfect perpetuation. Headshots grant 50% status effect damage and duration to the next status effect you apply. And so the only difference between perfect perpetuation and the standard version is the cooldown of this is 16 seconds. The non-perfect version is a full 20 seconds. So this does shave quite a bit of time off. Alright guys, in my offhand, I'm running the backup boomstick with Future Perfect, and this will allow me, if an enemy is bleeding, if they're under some sort of status effect, taking damage, they're just about dead, I can yank this guy out, take them down with this. This will proc Future Perfect, and this is one of those great perks that you can proc it, put your weapon away, and that overcharge still lasts. So we can use this for a little bit of bonus damage. This also, while in overcharge, our hive will refresh faster. The best way to play, if I want to maximize my damage with this particular build, will be to, before an engagement starts, I will get a headshot with the Everlasting Gaze to proc Perfect Perpetuation. I will run up on the enemy or throw my hive, but the easiest thing is just run up on the enemy. Perfect Perpetuation will be procced with the Imperial Dynasty Burn. That will spread to everybody due to the creeping death, and so the entire group of enemies will burn for 150% of the standard duration for 150% of that damage. Alright? As soon as they start burning, Perpetuation is on cooldown. We do not need to keep the Everlasting Gaze in our hands anymore. At that point, as soon as they start burning, I can immediately switch over to the Scorpio and start firing away. What I'll do is look for the weakest enemy, preferably a red bar, try to take that person out. That will spread status effects to the full 15-meter range versus the 8-meter range of Creeping Death, as well as refreshing any status effects of anybody that already has been afflicted by them. Alright, Ages, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't go over other viable weapons. One thing I will mention, Pestilence, the Plague of the Outcast, this is a debuff. This is not a buff. This is not buffed in any way by status effects. And in fact, this weapon debuff, the damage is based solely upon weapon damage. So I know back in the day a lot of skill builds were using this, but the way it's set up now, unless you're running solid weapon core attributes, it's not worth using the Pestilence really. You guys can always use the Mop. The Mop's great for the armor on kill. It doesn't matter what gets the kill. As long as it's one of your skills or you shooting them, you will get that plus 10% armor on kill. So this helps survivability. Mine has Spike. You can stick Perpetuation on yours or whatever you want to run with. You could run with the Pyromaniac with Perfectly Ignited. Deal plus 25% weapon damage to burning enemies. After 3 kills, applies burning to the next enemy you hit. This, of course, synergizes extremely well with Creeping Death and the Imperial Dynasty. You run up on a group of enemies, you immediately have them set on fire and burning. You start blasting these guys down, you're doing 25% bonus damage to them as you're taking them down. So this can work really well. Test Subject works good if you want to have a weapon to do damage along with your skills. As you're doing damage and proccing your skills, this will give you the plus 20% weapon damage. When you hit them with the weapon, that will give the plus 20% skill damage. When both of them are active, you will have a 40% damage bonus overall. This is additive damage bonus, not multiplicative, unfortunately. The Grudge is great with this build as well, since we are invoking status effects on everybody all the time. Perfect Vindictive, killing an enemy with the status effect applied grants you and all allies within 20 meters 18% crit hit chance and crit hit damage for 20 seconds. So if I am in a group, I would probably opt to switch out my Perpetuation. I wouldn't be trying to do that, trying to proc that as often. I'd probably just be using the Scorpio most of the time. But what I could do is every time that this is off cooldown, Perfect Vindictive, I could look for a weak enemy, just like I would with the Scorpio, blast them down, and then proc this bonus damage for the entire rest of my team. So while this really doesn't make my status effect build do that much more damage, if I'm running with 1, 2, 3 DPS characters, I'm sure, even if they have max crit hit chance, right? You think they're not going to want a bonus 18% crit hit damage? Come on, get the fuck out of here. Alright, moving on. An interesting one. I normally talk shit on this gun, and I use it as a joke. It's basically, I need to make a meme on the Slayer. But it does have hidden rock perk. Headshots apply confused with a cooldown of 20 seconds. So this normally sucks. 20 seconds sucks. Everything about it sucks. Until you consider creeping death and indirect transmission and spreading that confuse all around. That can actually be quite fun. So if you guys have a Slayer, give that a shot. Carnage, of course, will work. We're working with the Stinger Hive, which causes bleed. So this Perfect Sadist deal plus 25% weapon damage to bleeding enemies. Harmony for perfectly in sync from range. Surge with Perfect Spike. Alright, next I'm going to briefly talk about skills. But we will go into the skills in more detail after this, and we'll hopefully, I believe I show gameplay of almost every one of these skills. But let me show you just the different things that will work with the Eclipse Protocol build, and then later on we'll talk about the things that I believe actually synergize well with this build. So I will always be using the Stinger Hive in this build. Stinger Hive is pretty much a staple for a lot of my builds for all of the reasons. Alright, now I'll go down the list of things we can use. So one that I really enjoyed was the Burn Sticky Bomb. This is a great one, and we'll cover this a little bit more. You can use EMP. This will spread that disrupt around. However, this really has very limited use in most gameplay. The Shock Trap works amazing, as does the Shrapnel Trap. None of the pulses really benefit from this build, unfortunately. The Incinerator Turret can be used to effect if you like using the Incinerator Turret. The Firestarter works to good effect, as does the Riot Foam Chem Launcher. Blinder Firefly works to good effect if you want to blind enemies. The Explosive and the Airburst Seeker Mine both have status effects that they can spread. And that's pretty much it. So as you guys can see, there's a pretty wide selection of skills you can use. I'm going to basically focus on my secondary skill being one that will cause damage over time to some effect, but I will show the Riot Foam as well. All right, agents, one thing that I was really hoping is that the Achilles Pulse, the new one we just got, target a single enemy with a pulse that identifies weaknesses, highlights them, and causes damage to those areas to take headshot damage. Useful for solo snipers or support skill user painting targets for your teammates. Alright, well everything about it says single target, but right, we should be able to paint, see how, here's this. Okay, there we go, that's our guy we're going to paint right there, but I want to make sure he's near some other dudes. Actually, check us out. So this dude right here is obviously within 8 meters of other guys. Negative. It does not pulse anybody else. So, you can see, because that automatically spreads it, right? We did not proc our creeping death with the Achilles Pulse. So that is extremely disappointing. Obviously, one thing we could do would be to do the flame turret, right? The incinerator. Remember this bad boy? Is that guy really going to creep around that way? Alright.
I need to ditch these plates. They're fucked.
Oh, there he goes. Alright, so that's cool. Sucks that the Achilles Pulse doesn't work. Flame Turret works, but you know, I just think that there's better options. Alright, we'll try the Firestarter. Why not? Oh. I seem to have gotten him. And I'm still gonna get this motherfucker, right? Yeah, you didn't think I was gonna get him, but bitch, I got you. And you're just gonna keep burning until it's too late. Oh, shit! Just like that. Alright, so the Firestarter obviously works. Let's see what's next. Alright, this is just for shits and giggles. We're going to see if we can do area denial. Alright, good luck, guys. Oopsies. Anybody else? You know, as long as anybody gets too close to one of them, it'll just keep spreading that love around. Up. Oh, somebody's about to get fucked up. Yep. Let's go up and have some fun. Let them try to come and get me. I mean, this is the real area denial build. I mean, the what's it called are fun, the shock traps. But dude, nobody's getting past that shrapnel. See that? 1.4 million. Oh, whoops. Alright, this is where I gotta take advantage of the Eclipse protocol. The burn that it has, and just push. So here's what I'm gonna do. Yep.
I'm on fire!
Yeah, bud. Try to get out of there now. Oops!
That's what you need. Grab that key card.
Oh, that was the best. I can't wait to go back and watch that. Oh, shit. Somebody's gonna blow themselves up. Yep. Oh yeah, get that motherfucker. There we go. Oh, kill it with everything, yeah. Spread all that shit around. Look at that, guys. I'm amazed at how well this is working, actually. Look at that shit. You were fucked. Oh, dude, what you gonna do now, dude? Here, let's just up the ante. Take this. I'm just gonna stand here. For you too. Oh, dude. You're a medic. I can't deal with... No, dude, I can't have you reviving dudes. You don't get to do that. Alright, you just die now. See ya.
Isaac can't transfer the data.
Alright, so this is working pretty good. Now we're going to try out some Riot Foam. We'll see how this works. We already know that this works, but how effective is it? Alright, so now while they're stuck in it...
I'm stuck! Got them!
Dude, just equip the Riot Foam. There we go. Alright. So Riot Foam's cool. I'm not very good with it, but you guys that are good at aiming this fucker and making sure that it's in your hand when you mean it to be, The Riot Foam obviously can work fairly well. Alright, so obviously we can use a Blinder Firefly. This is great for a support build, but as far as actually, a status effect damage over time, this provides no damage. So this can be beneficial, but the primary thing I'm looking to do with this build, and this is of course similar to that Riot Foam, where it's like, alright, it stops them, it holds them in position to take damage from the hive, but does no damage directly. And so the last two options we could use is the explosive and airburst seeker mines. This one will apply bleed. This can be used to apply bleed at range. So this is an option here. The problem is it does have a fairly long cooldown at 22 seconds. Airburster has a little bit better cooldown at 18.9, and this will spread a burn to all the targets in the affected area, and of course can be buffed through either the Creeping Death or the Eclipse Protocol indirect transmission. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the Burn Sticky Bomb, seeing as out of all of these, this is the one thing that can be used as a direct offensive weapon, but can also be used for area denial. So the only downside I'm finding is since it's burn, there's a lot of times where it won't do anything against robotics, and that can be a deficit at times. Boom. Get those guys doing that. Let's do this. Oh, he tried to rush me. Oops. So watch this. Here we go. See how long he burns? Keep an eye on our burn rate, and I'm going to blow it up right about the last second. But let's be real. The easier way of doing it is to just do this. Oh, he's already dead. Alright. Well, so much for that.
Reinforcements en route.
Whoa! Alright. We're gonna let that burn. And let's blow it. Wait, why didn't it blow up, dude? Okay, that was annoying. I just fucking fully tried to blow that thing up and it didn't go. Like, what the fuck, dudes?
Detecting additional hostile
Oh, dude, was he far enough away from everybody? Oh, but I just spread that shit to everybody there. Yeah. Wait, how did these dudes just come from out of my... See ya. Alright. So, you guys see, Sticky Bomb I like because it can be set up and used for both area denial, but it can also be used for just straight up offensive, as we just saw there. Yeah. Yeah, Sticky Bomb's cool. Alright, so let's do this. Now we're going to go ahead and put Bone Stock back on. So, this, right, basically dudes are already out there, right? I'm just going to toss that, get the sticky, get this going. Wait, did that dude just drop a random red bar? Just drop me an exotic? Dude, trippy. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to send the hive first, and we're going to send these. So I do think using the Shrapnel Traps is a lot of fun, but for practicality, this is the way to do it. You just do this, do this, do this. We come up here, get these guys all on fire, do this, get my shock trap so I can walk out here, add some stacks to anybody who gets it. Oh, bitch, did you really just... So the weakest guy first, right? So that way we start spreading everything. So the weakest guy, just keep killing the weakest dudes. And transferring those stacks of everything to everybody else. Okay, you're not getting trapped. Oh, both of you fucks, huh? What are you guys thinking? Ooh, that's got me fucked up. I mean, what did you think was going to happen, though? I just want to get perpetuation proc, dude. Just give me a perpetuation, motherfuckers. There we go. Oh shit, I fucked up by switching, son of a bitch.
Interface deactivated. Data transfer stream opened. Handshake
Aww.
authenticated. Transfer initiated. 25% complete.
That's it.
50% complete.
Alright, dude. It's on like fucking Donkey Kong, bitch. Alright, you and me, dude. Who's gonna win this one right now? Let's do it. Let's finish it right now. And that's what I thought.
As fast as I
We're
can.
gonna do
Just
this.
aim that thing somewhere else. Help me, please.
And that spreads around to everybody, right?
These guys are insane. Crap, damn it. I'll be happy to make you smile.
Rogue agent detected.
Oh, sweet. I don't even know what that's gonna look like here.
Rogue Mender Seeker Mine detected.
You can't overkill that. You can't do it, dude. You just can't do it.
Rogue agent eliminated.
Yeah. Of course. Of course you were.
Be careful. They're bound to be expecting you.
Alright, agents, thanks for watching this. It took a little bit of time to get used to running this type of build again. The status effect build does function quite a bit differently from the skill build, but there's something about the constant effects going on, trying to keep as many enemies locked down as possible. And it was great to revisit it. It's still totally viable, and I do recommend you guys checking it out if you guys have the gear. Thanks a lot for sticking with it and checking out this video. Do me a favor, smash that like button. If you haven't already, consider subscribing. I hope I've earned your subscription. And the best thing you can do for me, comment down below. Let me know what you liked about this build. Let me know what you didn't like. If I missed anything, let me know what it is. You know, what I want to do is I want to make my videos as content rich as possible and to provide all the details I can. So if I miss something, let me know. You agents, take it easy. Be safe out there. And I'll see you in the Dark Zone.